What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I'm going to share my unique weapon guide for the Sword of Wonders, a giant electrical sword that will burn through your enemies. In this video, we'll look at where you can find this weapon, how it can be modded, and my overall thoughts on the sword. Quick reminder, I will be resuming my Nuka World Let's Play stream shortly after this video is uploaded, so stay tuned on my channel for that. Also, if you haven't gotten into the Kitty Kingdom zone of Nuka World yet and you want to avoid spoilers, this is not the video to watch. So there will be spoilers for Kitty Kingdom starting right now. The Sword of Wonders is located in Kitty Kingdom, and more specifically, King Cola's castle. And what you'll need to do is defeat Oswald the Outrageous, who is a ghoul who's kind of defending the place. There's some kind of backstory and whatnot, but essentially what you have to do is defeat Oswald in the castle. And so I'm not exactly sure about the sequence of this quest, but I do know that once you enter Kitty Kingdom, you'll have a quest to kind of search around for this mysterious voice, find out what the source of all these ghouls really is. I went to several different locations scattered around Kitty Kingdom before I came to King Cola's castle, but I believe you can come here first and initiate this first part, which is basically fighting Oswald. And unfortunately, Oswald is a magician, so once you knock his health down to a certain point, he's just going to disappear and kind of escape to another location. After this point, I exited the castle and took the search to the tunnels, in which I heard Oswald. I overheard him talking to a ghoul. There's a bit of backstory there, but you can turn off all the radiation sprinklers in the area. However, he just turns them back on, and once you progress to a certain point, then he will talk to you and say, you know, basically, this is where I am. And so you're going to return back to the castle, and Oswald would be waiting for you at the very top. Just to clarify, I don't know the exact sequence of events that you need to take here. I just know that you need to meet Oswald in the theater area, then you need to meet him down below, and then you need to go back up to the castle. So once you've made it to the top of the castle, you have two options for defeating Oswald. Either you can go one route with charisma and convince him not to fight you, and he will give you the Sword of Wonders, or you can fight him. And I just want to give you guys a warning, if you're around level 30 and you don't have a ton of ammo, then this is going to be tough for you. That was my situation in the stream. And Oswald actually resurrects himself 3 times. So you've got to beat a boss basically 3 times. He's got a lot of health already. He's going to be charging you with the Sword of Wonders because that's what you're getting from him. And he has a ton of ghouls. And so you'll have waves of ghouls, tons of Oswald fighting. You'll spend a lot of ammo. I just found it easier to take some great mentats that I already had on me, get up to 9 charisma, and then just, you know, pass a speech check. And if you do that, you can convince him not to fight you, and he will give you the Sword of Wonders. As you can tell, it's got a base damage of 45 with an additional 15 energy damage on top of that. So it's total for 60, and also this character, when I got this, had 0 melee perks, not a melee character. So this is the absolute base of the weapon. It also has the ignore 30% of target's damage and energy resistance modifier. In terms of weapon mods for the Sword of Wonders, you already get as good as you're possibly going to get with this weapon, and you get it without the requirements of perks and also without, you know, having to build it with a material. So as you can tell, Electrified Serrated Blade is the best mod for this weapon. It requires rank 3 of Blacksmith and Science. You don't need either of those. It automatically comes with it. And if you buff your character's melee weapon ability, you can certainly get the damage for this weapon up into the mid 200s, maybe even 300. It is a powerful weapon. If you go ahead and take, you know, maximum strength, if you go into rooted, for example, and don't move while you're hitting enemies, if you take all of the possible, you know, melee buff, strength, perks, and whatnot that you can possibly take, this can be a very potent weapon for you. I found this legendary modifier to be super useful against enemies of my level, and so this weapon is viable against enemies that are around the same level that you are. So, for example, I have some gameplay of me going on a mission and killing some railroad agents that I believe are around my level, because it is one of the pack missions, you know, that sends you back to the Commonwealth so you can do something for that raider gang. And so I was fighting these enemies and really making quick work of them and not taking a ton of damage while doing it. And not even to mention, you can use this with a sneak melee weapon build, and this will absolutely destroy enemies. I'm sure it'll one-shot most things that you'll come across. So whenever we get new weapons, we always have these questions of, does this stack up to what was best before? And best before was Krem's Tooth or Pikmin's Blade. It kind of depends. I think unanimously, though, a lot of people agree that it is Krem's Tooth. So overall, if Krem's Tooth was one of the best, or if not the best melee weapons, does Sword of Wonders stack up to it? And I want to say, not exactly. It doesn't exactly stack up to it. However, ignoring, you know, armor and resistances and stuff like that is really useful against certain enemies. It really is, especially if they're high level. They're giving you some troubles. Pulling out the Sword of Wonders might actually help you out of that trouble. So to wrap up my thoughts on the Sword of Wonders, I think it's a really cool weapon. It does deal a lot of damage if you specialize in melee weapons. It's got a cool quest attached to it as well. Kitty Kingdom is a place you're going to visit no matter what if you plan on, beating Nuka World, and so you will get the Sword of Wonders no matter what. But if you're wondering how good it is, I think it's a solid melee weapon to add to your collection. I'd like to hear from you all in the comment section below. Is the Sword of Wonders a weapon you'd actually use in Nuka World? Since we're all going to get it eventually if we beat the DLC, is this, worth your time? Is this something you're going to keep in your inventory, or is this something you're just going to collect and kind of put away? Share what your plans are in the comment section below. Alright guys, today I shared my unique weapon guide for the Sword of Wonders in Nuka World. Next time we will cover more Nuka World on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for my Nuka World coverage, my Nuka World daily streams, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace!